bring you another review. And as you see by the screen behind me, this review is going to be of Batman Returns Part 1 on Blu-ray. Now, I'm going to do Part 1 and Part 2 back to back. So, you know, you'll see it down below. There'll be a clickable link to the next review. Basically, well, eventually you'll see it. You know, I have to upload this video first, then the next video. But basically, let's get into it. Now, the reason why I took a little time to do this is I was waiting to get the second film, and I ended up borrowing both films from a buddy of mine. Now, alright, so in case you don't know, in case you've never read the story before, I mean, me personally, I haven't read, you know, The Dark Knight Returns in years. So, and I think I have it somewhere, but it's buried in the annals of my comic book collection. So as far as the accuracy goes, to both pictures, I will say this. Since I haven't read the comic in years, I can't nitpick the fine points, the finer points to tell you if they're accurate or inaccurate. All I will say is the bigger points, the things I remember about the book, are in both movies. As you see, I'm wearing a Superman shirt. Batman shirt was dirty, but that being said, I'll get to the Superman stuff in the next review. Alright, now the first picture. This film, now you have to understand something about this. This was set in a different alternate timeline, obviously, than the regular DC universe. This is set where Batman did his thing in the 50s and 60s and took the 70s off, or part of the 70s off, and now it's the mid-80s. And that's where it's set. But it's an alternate future where superheroes have been outlawed with the exception of government-sanctioned superheroes like Superman. The Cold War is going crazy, and an emboldened, kind of a crazy version of Reagan is in charge of the country. Now, I will say this, you know, I'll really wait to that stuff later on. So it's been 10 years, and Commissioner Gordon's looking to retire. You know, he's in his 70s and he's done. Now, a cyberpunk gang called the Mutants, which is not really a gang so much as it is a subculture of violent criminals. It's, you know, because there's like a few hundred of them, are all being led by their leader, and they're all, you know, they're looking to kill Gordon before he goes. And the movie opens up, by the way, the animation just keeps getting better out of DC. And let me say this. Their animated movies, DC, I don't know why the pictures are hard for them to do. I don't know why when they do a motion picture, they don't use the animation team. You know what I mean? The directors and writers from the people who do the animated movies. Because I would say a good 80 to 90% of the movies that they do is phenomenally good. You know, they're good. All of them. I would say almost all of them. There's every once in a while you'll get a shit one, but not in recent memory. I mean, the only one I could think of that was really bad was the early Superman stuff. The Superman Brainiac movie was horrible, only because they tried to turn it into a G-rated thing. And the Superman Doomsday movie could have been better. But could have been a lot better, actually. But those were the mediocre ones. I mean, I wish they'd bring back the Showcase, but that's enough about me rambling about that. But they're phenomenal. And some of the best Batman movies ever have been done. Such as, if you want to see another good one, go to Batman Year One, The Red Hood. All of them are good. So, anyway, so the animation in this is incredible. And it opens up with Batman doing a Formula One thing, and it's funny. There's a lot of, in these two movies, there's a lot of little nods to previous eras. Batman as Bruce Wayne driving the Formula One car. There's a shot of him wearing a helmet, which looks oddly similar to Bob Kane's Batman helmet. You know, helmet design basically, his hood design. So I thought that was nice. So yeah, you know, Commissioner Gordon's looking to retire. He's looking to get out of the game. He has dinner with Bruce, and in this, you know, it's been so long that people know. I wouldn't say people, but the people in the know who Batman is. You know, Jim Gordon knows who Batman is, and stuff like that. And you'll get other characters that know who he is too. And really, you know, the whole mutant situation and all the gangs and the violence have escalated to the point where people are afraid again. But Jim's getting too old to do something about it. You know, because it's time for him to go. And although he's still doing what he does, you know, and he does that throughout the whole story, which is what I like. But you know, Bruce has been rocked. And the reason for Bruce's retirement is because of Jason Todd. Jason Todd died, even though this was, I think the book itself came out before Jason Todd's death. But it was, people knew that was where it was going. So picture Jason Todd dies and then Batman retires, you know what I mean? So, but on his way home, he's nearly jumped and people were afraid to fight him, and, you know, he's getting that urge to be Batman again. He even has to look at the old Robin costume to kind of say to himself, I'm not going to do this. And basically, you know, he makes the decision to go back and be Batman. He wants to see if he still has it, and he's getting old. He's like a brick house. But the main catalyst for this is he had tried to help rehabilitate through his actions as Bruce Wayne, Two-Face, but then Two-Face, you know, goes underground again because he actually fixed his face, and, you know, criminal activities get started. So that's one of the reasons Batman comes back. And when he comes back, he is nasty. He's people are taking it back. I mean, you get a lot of scenes that were used in the last Batman motion picture were stolen from this comic. So, you know, he comes back. He does what he does. He's Batman. During one of the people he saves that first night is Carrie Kelly, and she will eventually become the new Robin. She gets inspired by Batman saving her, and, you know, she has absentee parents. She you know, these parents are like liberal weirdos, and you know, she puts on a Robin costume and goes searching for Batman. So Batman ends up saving the day, so to speak, and figuring out the problems with Two-Face. He ends up thwarting his plan to blow himself and the city tower up. Two-Face is so crazy that basically, although they fixed both sides of his face, in his head, his face is now equally fucked up. Like, they didn't fix the good half, they fixed the bad half. They didn't fix the bad half, they fucked up the good half, and that's his crazy. So Batman takes him in, and Gordon's like, you know, we gotta go after. You have to go after. You know, you're gonna have to go after the mutants too. He's like, don't worry, they're second on my list. Now, during the whole thing, there's this doctor that has been in Arkham, and he's the one who tried to help Two-Face. And the Joker's there. He's nearly catatonic, but it's more news attention to Batman grows, the more his mind begins to stir. And so Batman goes to take out the mutants and the leader, and he rolls in there with his Batmobile, which is like a huge tank, and he starts killing, or not killing people, but hitting people with rubber bullets, and he takes out like 83 of them, I think. He ends up fighting the leader, and he tries to do the leader hand to hand, and the leader, I mean, again, lines from the last Batman movie were taken from this comic. You know, he's in your prime, he'll kill you, and so they fight it out, and he does. He breaks Batman's arm. He ends up overpowering Batman, but the new Robin, who's been following Batman, jumps in, distracts him long enough that he puts this putty thing on his face and forces him to pass out. And then she helps him into the Batmobile and ends up going back to the Batcave. Batman tells her who she is and who he is and all that, and she ends up becoming the new Robin. But during this time, you know, you're gonna have things going a little crazy. The mayor, he's very wishy-washy politician, tries to go in and negotiate with what's-his-face, who's chained up, and he ends up killing him in a few seconds, even though he's chained up. So the mayor dies, and things really get escalated. Finally, Batman forms a plan to have him escape, and then he riles up all the gangs, so the gang's there, and to watch Batman beat this dude, thus dethroning him as the leader of the gang and breaking the gang apart. And what is an epic fight, and I will say this picture, the epic fight was with these guys, and they had 2 rounds, you know what I mean? The next picture, you're gonna have the fight between Batman and Joker and Batman and Superman, not to be giving too much away. And so, you know, they fight it out. Batman ends up housing him, you know, because he fights smarter this time, and he wins, beating this guy, dethroning him as the leader of the gang. And what happens is the mutants splinter off, and some of the mutants become the Sons of Batman and become a violent vigilante group, and to try to stop criminals, and you know, everybody went their own way. And the picture ends with pretty much the Joker stirring, so we know that the Joker is next. Now, I will say this: where they divided the film, it was good. And the story itself, obviously, is an iconic story, so I've always loved it. It's very good. I love it. You know, I don't need to tell you guys the history of what this comic did. I will say this: little touches, like there was a scene where Gordon is buying like liquor or something. He's in a grocery store, and the comic books in the background, Alan Moore, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths, you know, you had Alan Moore Swamp Thing, you had V for Vendetta, you had The Watchmen, you know, The Flash. You'll see a lot of cool DC covers in the background, and I like those little touches. Considering it's hilarious, considering this is, you know, the DC universe. So, the voice acting was tremendous in this. I loved it. The fact that they got RoboCop to play this version of Batman was genius. Just genius. And he adds that level of gravitas to Batman that this older Batman needs. So, what would I rate this film? It's a 5 out of 5. Definitely worth seeing. Definitely worth owning. Buy it. Have it in your collection. This is a keeper. Get both parts. I can't say enough good things. Where they brought the story was right, because it's the beginning half. It's him getting back to where he was. It's him getting a new partner. It's him taking out the gang, and it's the end of Gordon's career. So there's that finality to that chapter of things. So it was a good part to end on for a movie, than to do the later part. And honestly, you know, it's one of those things where until you see both films, when you just think about, oh, they've divided this up into 2 films, they're milking it, and then you watch both films and you're like, no, it really did. It was such a big story. To do it justice, you really did need 2 films. So this is one of those things. Yeah, so this is a 5 out of 5. And I absolutely love it. So click it up if you like it, comment if you must, and please subscribe if you can. And one quick side note, starting soon, and I'll give you guys more details when I do this. I think maybe Sunday nights. I don't know if it's going to be a live stream or I'm just going to record it and then put it out until I get, until it gets more notoriety. I don't know. But I'm going to be doing like a comic book round table-like discussion with some of my friends who are well-versed in comics and in other genres, like horror films. And I bring the anime and manga, stuff, or mainly anime, not so much manga. So we're going to be, I'm going to probably start that in about 2 weeks or so, but I'll give you more heads up on that. So anyway, this is me signing out.